Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another broadcast of The Weekly with me, Neff. Today we're going to talk about The Brutalist for a bit, mostly reviews, and then I got some more information on showings for anybody that is interested out there. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to this channel, and share this video with a couple of friends. We are trying to reach 500 subscriptions, and every subscription helps us out. To everybody that has subscribed to the channel, especially new subscribers, welcome. And keep watching our video content. We appreciate it, and keep spreading the word. Thank you. So yes, let's talk a little bit about The Brutalist. I've mentioned this film a couple times in a couple videos within the last week or two. And I was looking for some showtimes, but I noticed when I was looking for the showtimes, there was nothing available, although the poster for the film was on the main website of whatever theater I was looking at online. So this morning I ended up logging into the Instagram application, and I noticed that Harkins had made a post, and the post had stated that tickets are now on sale, and it also says see it on January 10th. Now for anybody out there that is in the know, then you would know that this film released on December 25th, Christmas Day yesterday. So just very interesting that there's like a 2-week gap between actually being able to see this movie from its actual release. Now, I don't know if it was a limited release from A24, and so it was at specific theaters, but now it looks like the tickets are open for purchase at your local theater. So I'll keep checking around at different theater chains and see if the Brutalist tickets are available. But interestingly enough, I decided to go and look at some reviews last night on Rotten Tomatoes, and we'll also look at some reviews from another website as well, but I wanted to go to Rotten Tomatoes first. Now, for the most part, all of these reviews are positive. People are stating that this is arguably the best film of the year. That's a subjective opinion, of course, but let's read a couple reviews of The Brutalist. I have not seen this film yet. Like I said, I am moderately interested in it just because of all of the buzz around it. Adrien Brody is starring in it. Pearce is co-starring as well. Decent story there, but let's read some reviews. This film is 3 hours and 35 minutes, so it is going to be a long film. Let's read the synopsis. Escaping post-war Europe, visionary architect Laszlo Toth arrives in America to rebuild his life, his work, and his marriage to his wife after being forced apart during wartime by shifting borders and regimes. On his own in a strange new country, Laszlo settles in Pennsylvania, where the wealthy and prominent industrialist Harrison Lee Von Buren recognizes his talent for building, but power and legacy come at a heavy cost. I did see the trailer for this film. It's okay. I think the film overall is probably a decent film. Of course, it's A24, so you know it's going to be artsy. Is it as good as the critics claim? Who knows? I have to see it before I can judge it. Funny enough, another tidbit and side note, I did watch Oppenheimer for the first time yesterday. Christopher Nolan is at the height of his talent when it comes to being a visualist. And at this point, you know what you're getting when you watch a Christopher Nolan film. The story was okay, it was decent. The film was a little long, but it told the story in its entirety, which I have to respect. Like I said, when I'm watching Christopher Nolan films, I'm into his sci-fi fantasy epics. This one is a little different, but this is what Nolan does. He does a film like Oppenheimer, and then he does a sci-fi fantasy epic film in between. He had Tenet before this film, so it makes a lot of sense there. I believe after he released Interstellar, he released Dunkirk. So you get the gist of what Christopher Nolan is doing. And I just reported on his new film that's going to be coming out in July of 2026. I know some ways out, but it is titled The Odyssey, which will be an adaptation of Homer's The Odyssey. So I think that is going to be a really good film, and I do believe Christopher Nolan is going to pull this off in a major way, and it is going to be an awesome theatrical experience. But after watching Oppenheimer, I could see why it won so many Academy Awards. It didn't look like anything that came out that year. When you have the black and white shots back to the color, the visual aesthetics around the atomic bomb and so on and so forth, the dialogue, the story, the pacing, everything just came together very well. But yes, The Odyssey is going to be Christopher Nolan's next endeavor in film. And I did a video on that, so go back and look at that video in our catalog as well. But let's get back to The Brutalist and some of these ratings. This is Rotten Tomatoes. The tomato meter reads 93% certified fresh. The popcorn meter says 91%. So heavily favored and highly favored by the critics and just your general audience goer. Let's read a couple reviews. Let's read 4 reviews here. This is from Leonard Malton. The Brutalist is not just another film arriving at year's end seeking recognition and awards. It is the product of rich imagination and exacting discipline, one struggling artist's story and his collision with a moneyed sponsor writ large. Top critic there, he gave it a fresh score. This is Andrew Marzoni of The New Republic. He says, Corbett's indulgence and symbolism is heavier-handed than a fistful of concrete and steel, and yet it works. I believe Corbett is the director of the film. Peter Howell from Toronto Star, a movie to stare at and ponder, an imposing creation with a hard core of beauty, as someone says of Toth's minimalist masterpieces. Gave it a 3.5 out of 4 stars. And this is the last one from Jeffrey M. Anderson, Common Sense Media, a massive work of hubris, a sprawling biographical story of a larger-than-life character, and a towering showcase of design. This admirable, if not lovable, drama requires patience, but he gave it a good score there. Let's see if there's one more here. David Nusser, Real Film Reviews, an impressively larger-than-life epic that fares best in its frequently riveting first half. So he gives it a good score, but I've seen this a couple times regarding this film. First half solid, back half runs a little too long, could have cut some off. Overall, decent scores. Let's look at some audience reviews here. 9 out of 10 from this person named 10T. And then brilliant besides some characters having an open ending, captivating from start to finish. Zion. What a cinematic achievement I saw in 70mm VistaVision. Gorgeous cinematography and top-notch performances. Was a bit disappointed on how it ended, but still felt wowed by the film. This is Mark. This is virtuosic cinema. What's implied, what's caught in the camera lens, that its story takes close to 4 hours to tell is virtuosity. So that's his comment on that, but he gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, so it looks like he really did like the film overall. That's what we got off Rotten Tomatoes. Let's look somewhere else. Maybe something on IMDb. Fandango has it at a 91%. IMDb has it at an 8.1 out of 10. And Letterboxd has it at a 4.1 out of 5. Let's look at IMDb. Let's see what they have to say about it. This is a good review from a top reviewer. It says it's a 9 out of 10. Pretty long text here, so I'm going to walk through it with you guys. Imposing epic with an acting duel between Brody and Pearce. A Hungarian Jewish architect manages to narrowly escape to war from post-World War II Europe in hopes of building his new life for his family. In his new country, his struggling career has some bumps and detours before he is taken under the wing of a watchful, prosperous industrialist in Pennsylvania who admires his work and who ends up employing him to carry out part of his own vision. Adrien Brody gives one of his best performances ever as Laszlo Toth, the hardworking and determined immigrant who hopes to start a new chapter and rebuild his legacy, both literally and figuratively, but it is Guy Pearce who nearly steals the film with a ferocious and charismatic performance as the blue-blooded tycoon who gives Toth's work as an architect a chance. He shifts from sympathy to vindictiveness with ease. Brody's protagonist is not a paragon of virtue, to be sure. He wrestles with drug addiction sometimes, doesn't respect the chain of command, teeters on the brink of madness, and even turns on some of his closest friends in moments of high stress. In the end, he is sympathetic but a complex person. Director Brady Corbett provides a rich sense of historical context. The only criticism of the film is that it offers only a vague idea of what this pioneering architect did over the long term. Its focus is overwhelmingly on his first and most ambitious project for this mercurial employer and all the trouble that came with it. Nevertheless, it's one of the best epics in recent memory and enthusiastically recommended for the superb work all around. And that is the end of that review there. And that's just one solid review from IMDb. Like I said, a lot of information in that review there, but this person gave it a 9 out of 10. This film has a budget of $10 million. So far, it has grossed about $266,000. Obviously, more showings are going to open up. I don't think this is a film that is trying to rely on first week box office sales. As I said earlier, I am just now seeing availability for tickets for showings on January 10th. So we will have to see what the film does overall. But yes, sounds like it's a good one. Maybe I will watch this film, don't know. But for anybody out there that is interested in The Brutalist and was wondering, hey, how can I see this film if they weren't able to see it? It looks like tickets are on sale now. So you guys have the scoop and you have a couple reviews there if you are interested in it or if you didn't know anything about it. So with that being said, please like this video. Comment down below if you're going to watch The Brutalist starring Adrien, Brody, and Pearce. Sounds like a good one, like I said. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell for notifications so you can keep getting cool updates from me, Neff. Share this video with a couple of friends and let them know to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications as well. And with all that being said, be safe. It's Neff signing off.